Hello guys, welcome back to another Bitcoin update here. Right now the market looks very interesting. I do think we're at a make or break point right now. So let's start again from the macro chart. Something I want to cover before I jump into the shorter time frame TA. Some people have been speculating when we're gonna get this final push to the upside, as we've been talking about, to take us to around 100k before then we have the crash. And I see a lot of people thinking this is gonna happen before next year. So some people have been saying like during like mid-November we can reach like 100,000, something like this, which is very possible. But something that we do need to keep in mind, if you come on the normal chart, on the log scale it does look normal, but if you come on the normal chart, this would mean that Bitcoin would have to start doing something like this in just a couple of months, and I just don't see that happening, even though I'm personally bullish myself. But I did draw this pitchfork here if we come on the log scale. So we have first the big time frame pitchfork that we've been speculating. We need one more touch of it before we're going to enter the bear market. But if we add this pitchfork that we've been having from the bear market lows to the highs this year and then to the lows we've had, and we use the modified shift, which has been our target, and right now we're using the logarithmic scale, we can see it's a very nice correlation here at 107,000 in April next year. So I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we would do something like this on Bitcoin in the next half a year. And if we come on the normal scale, we can see this doesn't seem too far off in my opinion. Of course, it doesn't have to trend exactly like this. We could reach this median line before, then have a pullback, then come up here again. But here, you want to see confluence. Confluence here, this would be like the best trading opportunity of a lifetime. A shorting opportunity, basically, when you see two median lines touching each other, especially when it's on the daily time frame. Anyways, let's remove this big one here. Our target remains the same. So let's come here to the normal chart. So on the normal chart, we come here away from the log scale, as we've been talking about. This is going to be our next target, this median line here. And in my opinion, it's just a matter of time before we go to 68k. And once we reach this one, we can use the original, talk about 70k, and then we can use the log scale, which has been here also correlating at around 77k. So we have a lot of targets here ahead of us, but don't worry, we're gonna catch them all once at a time. So let's zoom in here on the 4 hour. We're still in this supply zone. We have called this supply zone perfectly. We can see each time price comes into the supply zone, we have a sell-off, which can mean two things. So usually, in my experience, this is just accumulation. So basically what's happening, there's a lot of supply here that is getting eaten up by the market. So the longer we can stay here, we might get a pullback, of course, but the weaker the resistance gets. So as you probably have heard, the more times we test resistance, the weaker it gets. So in my opinion, I do think this is just supply that's getting eaten away from the market, and we're just now waiting for the final push, which is going to take us to 68k. That's what I'm seeing right now. So this is very important chart to pay attention. What you could do is hedge yourself. I wouldn't do it this personally, but you could have stop above the highs and open a short here, only purely as a hedge if you're in on a lot of cryptos right now, because it's a very important level, a make or break level. This is not something I'm doing myself, but just something I thought I would share with you guys for those who are interested. Otherwise, what I'm looking at here is any pullback I can get to from these lows here up here. If we can get any pullback to the 0.31, I'll be personally looking to enter. You could also use the lows from here and stack them on top of each other. So if you really are eager to get in, you can use the lows from here, and what you could do is use the lows from here. So here you have many targets that you could look at. Personally, I like to use the first two. Up here can be risky unless you're a scalper, but otherwise I would look at 61,000 and 61,800, 61,000 to go along. So either we're going to do this, fly straight up into the median line, or have pullback here before we continue higher, or something like this. So these three different scenarios. I do believe that we might see one more candle to the downside, since we are making higher highs here. So we have some kind of wedge. So this, I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this before we continue higher. Then I want to add this pitchfork again. I've gotten some questions about it here on the 4 hours. So basically from these lows to these highs and to these lows here, and we use the original. As I said, most likely this median line here, we're not gonna reach it because we have this big one in the way. So even if Bitcoin will start pumping here, that's gonna act as heavy resistance before we come down. But as I said, anything is possible. I still like to use this pitchfork. We can see price has been really trying to keep itself inside this pitchfork. We can see the 0.5 line here has acted as great support. So we've got many wicks here, but right now we're under the 0.5 line. As I said, most likely this median line unfortunately is not going to get reached, but that doesn't mean on the bigger time frame we're still going to the upside. So in my opinion, you want to enter longs as many as you can here on any pullback you get, because this median line here will get reached, and that's just going to be the first target. Then we'll have also on the log scale, as I said, which will have even higher target. We can see also, if we check the stock market is still under the minus 0.236. This is the new Elliott wave count that we had 1, 2, 3, 4. So we drag the fib tool from the second wave to the third wave. Algorithms buy at the 0.31, and right now we're just waiting for the stock market to hit the minus 0.236. As I said, as long as we're under it, I do think the S&P will continue higher and Bitcoin most likely gonna follow, and then we're gonna see if we can break this resistance, or if we're gonna pull back before we continue higher. This might cause some volatility for Bitcoin and we might see a pullback, but overall the S&P is going much higher this year, as we've been speculating. So the easiest gain is basically to just try to long the S&P 500 on any pullbacks you can get. I'm still expecting another 22, maybe even 27% return in the stock market before we'll enter a massive recession, because big algorithms are waiting here at the median to dump. So you don't want to miss this short. So make sure, if you want to catch, I'll post my trade here live on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe if you want to catch the absolute top of the stock market, which is most likely going to be the absolute top of Bitcoin as well. So let's jump into the Ethereum chart. Same thing, Ethereum is still inside this big pitchfork, or top target here at 6,100, which I'm talking that I talked in previous videos. I'm still speculating if Ethereum can go so high. 6,000 does seem high to me. I know I'm gonna sound bearish here, because some people are like, we're gonna go to 10k this year, but or like next year, this bull market basically. But just for Ethereum to go to 10k, if you come here on the normal scale, like we'd have to do something insanely, like something like this. And we have to understand the market cap of Ethereum and Bitcoin is not like it used to be. We're very big market caps. So for Ethereum to do something like this, it would need insane amount of money in an insane amount of short time. I'm not saying Ethereum is never going to go to 10k. I'm holding a lot of Ethereum myself. I would hope this happens, but I'm just trying to be realistic with you guys, because we have to understand this market does not move like it used to. These bull markets are getting smaller and smaller. So what I mean smaller, the percentage gains that are to be made. Like if we check, for example, Ethereum from the absolute lows to the absolute high, previous bull market did 5,000%. We can see this year, if we take from the lows to the absolute highs, did 300%. Even if we come to 10k, that's 1,000%. So the percentage is getting lower and lower. But so far, I'm still speculating. If Ethereum can start showing some strength here, we can get above the 0.5 line here. I do think this is gonna be the top. But this median line, there's no way, in my opinion, Ethereum is gonna break. Not this bull market, at least. If you come here on the shorter time frame, Ethereum is setting up for some really nice long opportunities. As we spoke about, if we can break the level here at 2,800, there's no resistance up all the way up to 3,200. So we're just looking for something like this, probably resistance, and then Ethereum is just gonna fly here, cut through like butter, because there's absolutely no resistance here. This green box is basically showing you this an empty volume gap, as I like to call them, where there's no resistance, no big players are willing to do business here. So usually when price comes up here, we'll just fly straight until the next supply zone, which is at 3,200. And right now I'm just looking at this pitchfork on Ethereum, which I do think it's possible for us to reach. As I said, I do think altcoins and Ethereum are gonna continue to show strength. So my next target is this median line here. So depending when we reach it, is gonna be the next big resistance. So right now I'm just trying to find any entries here. I take from these lows to the highs at the 0.31, which is my favorite fib. And I'm getting questions about this fib. If you go to settings here, you have to add it yourself. So you have to write it in yourself, because this fib does not exist. I've created it personally just by backtesting fibs. I don't like using Fibonacci. Otherwise, these are the only Fibonacci I use, the 0.31 and the minus 0.236, which I've created myself. So right now here I'm seeing a very cool area to go long. If we get one more drop on Ethereum, that would be great to let me just make this green. That would be great to open a long here because the market is very, very bullish, but a few people yet have realized it. So one more drop here and then just gonna fly higher straight to the median line. This median line isn't a magnet. There are algorithms waiting here to sell. So the liquidity is to the upside. You don't want to miss it. So that's my play right now on Ethereum. If we also check the BTC Dominance chart, we can see BTC Dominance continues to drop just as we've had on this pitchfork for a super long time. We've been talking about this for months and weeks in advance. Nobody paid attention to this, and we can see right now it looks like we're getting a pullback. As I said, I'm still not sure how far down we can go, if this is going to be a complete trend change. If we do this, as I just drawn the chart, and we go to 50%, this is going to be absolutely insanely bullish for altcoin and Ethereum. I'm still a bit skeptic if this is going to happen, but I do think we're at least going to go to 55.4%, which is already very bullish on altcoins. Of course, alt season is not like what it used to be, but we can see if you're in the right altcoins, the returns are doing really good, are quite high. And also usually when the Bitcoin dominance drops, it means also more money will flow into Ethereum, and that's why I also have a more bullish stance on Ethereum, at least shorter term. Then this could start trending higher on the macro chart, but that's something we have to cover day by day. Otherwise, that's my views right now on the market. Please leave your comments down below what you think about the future of Bitcoin, when you think the all-time high is going to happen. My speculation is it's going to happen around somewhere maybe April, July next year. Somewhere here I could see Bitcoin doing something like this, maybe even later, maybe in September next year. But I don't think it's going to happen this year at the top. We still have a long way to go. Otherwise, guys, I thank so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.